You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah on AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Audible, Podchaser, JioSaavn, Rumble, Tiki Live, and more. And why so many places? Well, I want to maximize my splatter zone. So I have topics and guests and series to that end. If you've missed any of my past 847 shows, yes, this is my 555th consecutive week on the air. Unbelievable. I am so grateful to all of you for continuing to prove that a show about hope and happiness instead of gossip and scandal and K-words, Kardashian talk, which is not, can survive I guess we're on 8 years now. In May will be 10 years. So I'm so grateful to all of you. And you see a familiar face now. Today it is time for Real Talk with author, professor, and more, Colette Tracy. Welcome back to my show. And Polly, can you hit that applause? Because I can't work my brother's I'm in unfamiliar territory, broadcasting live from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I'm grateful for it, but all the equipment's a little different, so I'm having a fun time trying to relearn how to use a mouse. But thank you for the thumbs up from everybody. Welcome back to the show, Colette.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
Wonderful. We'll start with breakfast with us so we can talk about what happened within the framework of gratitude. So you know the drill. Breakfast with Dr. Marissa and Colette Tracy requires you to find 8 specific things that you are grateful for. I see the eyeballs rolling in. I'll take a quick commercial and say, please do, if you are not driving and listening to the AM FM on the way to work, there's may be work or not, please do go to my YouTube channel first that houses all of the shows to stream, chat, and interact with us. And that is also on LinkedIn and Facebook. And thank you so much. I got a thumbs up for that. So I love having an interactive show with all y'all, thanks to technology. And that's the first thing I'm grateful for, is the technology that allows me to bring the show wherever I am, even when it's cold outside. I get to broadcast from the warmth of my brother's home here in Vaughan, Ontario, home to Canada's Wonderland. We'll talk about that in a second. Go ahead, Colette. What are you grateful for?
Well, I am grateful as well for this platform. Grateful that we met and to be able to have an opportunity to talk about some things that are very important on my heart.
Beautiful. I am grateful for the snow that is incredibly beautiful when I look outside. Something that's great to visit, but I'm grateful that I'll do too. I'm grateful that my home is really in California, because I'm definitely a California girl. So you do too.
Okay. Okay. So I am grateful for my daughter, Ryan, and her courage.
Beautiful. I'm one more to catch up.
Oh, I've got to. Okay. Sorry. Oh yeah. You did say two. I'm grateful for my son, Ian, and his integrity.
Fantastic. I'm grateful that my daughter, Sarah, finally made it. Her flight that was supposed to come in Christmas Eve was canceled. So she had to spend the Christmas home alone, which I was not thrilled about, but she's here now. I picked her up yesterday from the airport, and I'm grateful for that.
I'm grateful for the beautiful lights in my sunroom and on my Christmas tree. Just first year we ever put lights inside of the sunroom. Just beautiful. Very pretty.
Fantastic. All right, going to the bottom of the bun. 8 things that we appreciate about yourself, about myself. It is purposeful that I ask you to do this. So instead of falling asleep, you're going to do this tonight before you go to bed. So instead of thinking about all the things that you forgot to do, all the people that you forgot to get presents for, all the things in which you beat yourself up about, no wonder you can't sleep. Instead, I want you to exercise your muscle of self care, self approval, self love, and highlight those things that you like about yourself. Not that you're perfect, but I think that the world would be a better place if everyone knew how precious they were, for the most part. 88% fabulous. So, what are those specific things that you like about yourself? So, Colette, go ahead and start.
Okay. I like the fact that through the years, I have learned how to comfort myself when I need it. I was not able to do that in the past. And I think, as my book is about the great things about aging, and there's just more equilibrium and ability to help yourself, comfort yourself when you need it.
Fantastic. I also appreciate my ability to soothe myself.
Mhm.
Physically, I have mastered the self hug during
Mhm.
COVID, and that I can talk myself off of the ceiling
Mhm.
most of the time. So that's an important skill.
Mm. I'm grateful for my ability to make
Appreciate.
other. I appreciate my ability to make other people feel comfortable and
Mm,
at home.
mm. I appreciate that I get to work in a field that is all about um, helping people claim their natural birthright to happiness. And
Mhm.
I've made a couple of people cry already, which I am sadistically happy about, because when people cry, it means their hearts are open. And
Mhm.
tears are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft. That's my
Mhm.
one of my
Mm.
proudest original sayings that I love to repeat often and much, because we don't cry often
Mhm.
enough, and we tend to hold it in, and then we wonder why we can't stop, because
Mhm.
it's like built up dam floodgates, right?
Mhm.
So every week, once a week,
Mhm.
I advise my coaching clients and anybody who's listening to watch a sad movie and just allow yourself to be humanly sensitive. So I
Mhm.
appreciate my ability, my discipline to do that.
Mhm. Yeah, turn on your heart light. Yeah, I love that. Which reminds me that I appreciate my ability to be a good friend to my friends.
Mm, beautiful. I appreciate my ability to be my own best friend,
Mm.
and
This is
not
important.
crave, yeah, other. I've lost that. I used to feel sorry for myself that I didn't have a best friend, but
Mhm.
I know who that is now. It's me.
Mhm.
All right, I think that was 8. So we are finished with breakfast. We have now surrounded your day with a gratitude sandwich. I hope you enjoyed your breakfast with us. And I would challenge you to do this for 30 days in a row, whether you're listening or not. But if you're listening, you will know that we start almost every show this way so that you can have the best day possible. So that's it. And now let's go to the topic. And I'm going to throw it to Colette. She came up
Mhm.
with this topic, which I think is a great topic.
Mhm.
What are we talking about this morning?
We're talking about our goals for the new year. And I don't notice I didn't say, New Year's resolutions because we put, again, so much pressure on ourselves to be, think, feel a certain thing at this time. What are we going to do with this time? But I think what I would recommend and what I'm trying to do for myself, and this is the thing. I'm not speaking from a know all be all. I'm a work in progress like everybody else, and I work on these things for myself, and some of these things are what works for me. So I would definitely recommend them to my clients is to really make a priority list before you decide what your goals are going to be. Make a priority list, right? Because it's very important. It helps us to stay realistic with what we're really trying to accomplish with our goals. For example, I spend a lot of time working, right? Like a lot of women, whether that's inside the house or outside the house. But for me, I'm building my brand. I'm building my book. I'm building an entrepreneurship, a business, so to speak. And I don't have the time to really fret as much about my house. Okay. And what's getting done and what isn't. I have, my husband, I have my son, you know, uh, extended family come, they're taking over a lot of the things. But as a woman, that's very difficult, right? Even if you are someone who is very career oriented, because we want to be everything. It's like I don't even, over this holiday season, really finally having the chance to sit back. It's like, God, I don't even feel like I own my house anymore. This is my kind of thing. So, but I think that has to be all right, right? You have to decide because we can't do it all at one time. We can't have it all at one time. Collectively we can, but there are certain points in our lives where we have to make that transition. We have to make that adjustment for change. And it's not easy. It's really not easy, but it's a work in progress. And we continue to do what we do and try to keep that balance, as Dr. Marissa always says as well. That's very important because you don't want to feel like you're very disconnected from your personal life, or you don't want to feel like you're getting way behind on your professional goals and or your whatever they are, fitness or whatever. You want to have that balance. So that's what the main thing that I think is very important. And
Yeah.
Dr. Marissa?
Yeah, great points, great topic. I think that, very apropos for our series, Real Women Talk. And the reality is, if you are a career woman, you have this BS belief system. And the question is always asked, can you have it all? Can I have it all? I want it all. Can I have it all? I want my cake and eat it too. I want to be the top of the ladder work wise. I want to be the perfect mom, the perfect wife, the perfect partner, the perfect yada, yada, yada. So I do this, do that, do this, do that. And I end up in doo doo because I'm never really there, because I'm always on to the next, on to the next. And then your mantra becomes, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I reach this position. I'll be happy when I have this much money. I'll be happy when my parents are healthy again. I'll be happy when my kids have a great job and are on that track. I'll be happy when, and then you're never happy because no matter what goal you hit, you're already thinking about the next
Yeah.
one. So in that sense, no, you cannot have it all if you are not in the completion, if you're never in that completion mode. And it is a hard lesson. You're right. I mean, it's very difficult for a professional woman to just stop for stop for a California minute and say, hold on, like, where am I falling off the beam? And this is so aligned with what I wanted to do this week, which is, what do I want to leave behind in 2022 that isn't working for me? So if you are running, if you have, 100 balls in the air, know that you are definitely dropping, more than half of the balls. So whatever you're doing isn't working. So let's figure out what that habit is and let it go here so that 2023 is not a repeat of 2022 and backwards. So one thing is trying to be the perfect something in every role that you play. It is crazy making because you cannot control all the ways in which you are servicing others. And in my book, there's an exercise, it's called the core of who I am versus the roles that I play. So if you're trying to be the perfect mom, perfect consultant, perfect professor, perfect teacher, perfect coach, perfect wife, perfect partner, whatever it is that you're trying to be perfect at,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a fail because you're trying to correct yourself
Mm-hmm.
from the imperfection you just had. You yelled at your kids because you were just over the top and you feel bad, and now you're not perfect mom anymore, so you try to get back on that, but then that takes time, so it takes away from a project that you were supposed to have due or something like that. And so it's a constant, that doo-doo missing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first step. Recognize, how are you defining yourself? If you're
Mm-hmm.
defining yourself in the unrealistic goal roles
Mm-hmm.
on what you do for people, you're going to fail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And I would like to add too, stay-at-home moms are the same in their way. I have a couple stay-at-home moms in my life that I've known and know, and everything has to be perfect too. And it's the same thing. No matter what, your kids are they doing well enough? Are they socialized? Then it becomes a whole different myriad of goals that you give yourself, right? Is your house, the way you want it? Does it look perfect? Is it decorated just the way you want? Or maybe, or whatever those priorities are, you deserve to give yourself a break no matter what. And I tell you what, if there's one thing I've learned now, being at this age and this stage of my life, is your body will tell you when it needs a rest. I went through my whole life before this stage, really just going. And people think I go a lot now. They're like, oh my God, but I never stopped. I never wanted to stop. I didn't feel the need. But you get to a certain place, and especially if you've burnt yourself out and you don't even realize it, your body's going to say, "Hey, hey, here I am. I'm done. I'm done. I'm laying down. I'm taking a break." And one of the things I noticed too about being able to take a break, because this is something I really love to do, is reflect. You know, I've stepped away from my treadmill right now with my work and school and everything, right? I'm on a break, and my mind is able to reflect on some of the things I've accomplished now and get a clearer picture of, what is a priority? What do I want to do moving forward? You need that time to be still and reflect. And you don't realize that when you're young because you're so used to just what's the next thing? What's the next thing I've got to do? And I've got so much to do. And I've got, and it's fine, and sometimes your body will give you a whisper, okay, which I feel like it's giving me a little more than a whisper, but sometimes it'll say, bam, I'm done, and knock you down. And then you're forced, to take a break. If I had a dime for every time my mom and dad, were so worried about me through the years, you're not a machine, stop working so hard, and yeah, tomorrow, I'll stop. I realize now that it's you do come to a time where you have to pace yourself. And again, we're talking about those transitions, right? Those changes, the switching of the lens to make that all right. Because at certain points in life, you have no choice really but to transition, because whatever the forces that are out of your control, they're saying, hey, we got to do it whether you're ready or not. You may be way back thinking I'm going to do everything, and my mind does that all the time. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I say that I want to do this, I want to do that. Everybody comes to me with an offer, and, oh yeah, I want to do that. The problem is, in reality, you can't. You can't. And if you ever could, you can't at a certain point, and that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Our society is so wrapped up in, American society is so wrapped up in work. And as you go to other countries, especially in Europe, like Italy or France or Greece or whatnot, their pace of life is not that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll spend hours at a restaurant. I remember when my husband and I were in Italy 8 years ago. We used to get so like, okay, where is the waiter or the waitress? It just was a long. You could be having a cup of coffee and you wouldn't get your check like here in the States. Boom, 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 boom.
Right.
We're done. We're moving on. There, it's
Right.
like leisurely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for us. It's hard for us to do that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Case in point, I'm going to take out what is on me as far as my body telling me this is an ice pack that I have had, because my body just said, you know what, you really you have all these things planned for your time in Toronto. I'm going to put your back out so that you can't go running around. And it's been very difficult, but
Hmm.
necessary for me
Hmm.
to slow down just a bit, because
Hmm.
you're right. When your body is done, it's done. And
Hmm.
as much as I hate being sick, I'm very rarely sick, but even when I am sick, I don't stop, and then it'll get worse. So back pain is definitely, I think, the worst pain. It's worse than childbirth in my memory. But it like when I'm sick, like if I, not COVID, I still haven't had it, but when I, even when I'm not feeling well, I still plow through, which is not good. So
Hmm.
this back thing, I cannot plow through. So,
Hmm.
who's got the last laugh now? Not me. And
Hmm.
I'm forced to just chill, which is very difficult for me. But I
Hmm.
think that it is, it's that, no pain, no gain. That's bullshitaki.
Hmm.
You don't push through pain. You recognize what pain is. It's a nice reminder that you have to be kind to yourself. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering who, both of us are preaching to the choir here, it is the special series called Real Women Talk, with Colette Tracy and Dr. Marissa, and you are tuned in to KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. If you are anywhere near a computer, go find my YouTube channel, Dr. Marissa Pei, PEI. P as in positive, and you can stream us and watch and listen and participate. No comments yet. I keep looking, but I think people might be sleeping in this morning from the
Hmm.
exhaustion of their holidays. But
Hmm.
definitely, we're talking about setting our not before we set goals, looking at and becoming aware of where we are, and dropping those things in 2022 that haven't worked for us. And certainly perfectionism and running around ragged is something that we want to leave here in 2022. Colette,
Hmm.
so how do people get to the point where they are not running around? What are some, you want to set, you don't want to have no goals,
Hmm.
right? You want to have some goals. Give me a teaser of
Hmm.
what we're going to talk about in the second half.
Yeah, well, it's a matter of it's not all or nothing, right? It's not an all or nothing proposition, which we tend to be that way in, just saying, in the United States as well. It's
I
all
have
or
no
nothing.
idea what you're talking about.
So it's really, you know, I think one of the things for me I get pleasure out of getting things done. You know, get done what you need to get done, but set realistic goals and priorities. You'll feel better. And then make that slot, make that time in your calendar for time for yourself, whether that means just listening to music or reading a book or doing some meditation, or maybe that means getting together with your family and doing some things, and watching movies. I can't tell you, I don't watch movies on a regular basis because I have other priorities. That's okay. But
Mhm.
really, to kind of get involved in your life, that you're putting aside things that you're putting aside due to the things that you think are so important. And yes, we all have important things in life. That's why I say make a list, limit the list, and then to stay within wide boundaries of that list and understand. But the hard thing is allowing other people to do for you as well. Because I know I'm preaching to the choir with most women, all women that I know. We want to be it, do it, and we don't like help. I know I don't, you know, and I don't like feeling like I'm not in control of my own domain, right? But guess what? I am in control, but I have a family, I have a team behind me that is there to help me. And I was just telling one of my good friends that the other day, like, allow that. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me. Like, oh my God, everybody's doing everything. What are people going to think? I'm not doing
Mhm.
anything at my own house. And it's okay.
Mhm.
But realize it's not going to be done the way you want it done. It won't be done perfectly. It's somebody else's idea of what's
Mhm.
perfect.
Mhm.
And you've got to roll with that. And that's the hardest thing. That is the hardest thing because as women, it starts with our children or even before children. When we do something, we put ourselves into it 180%. It's ours. We put our signature on it. But what we have to learn is we can't do that with everything. We have to
Mhm.
pick and choose and let other people pick up where that leaves off. That's a hard
Mhm.
thing, but we have to do that. Take time for ourselves. Let other people help. I've heard people say, well, I don't want my husband folding the towels. I have a certain way of folding them, and I can't stand it. Well, stand it because that's not a priority. Folding towels is not a priority. What is your priority? What are the things that are the core list, maybe five, six, that you want to focus on? And then
Yeah.
everything else, make a plan around that for letting other people. Let other people help. If they won't, if you feel you can't get people to help you, let it go. Again,
Mhm.
go back to that priority. Yeah.
Yeah, great. That's a great first tip. We're going to come back with more solutions on how to prepare for this new year here on special series Real Talk with co-host
Colette Tracy.
and Dr. Marissa here on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get
Mhm.
balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And I wanted Colette to do the commercial today and tell us about her book that has been made into programs in colleges. So, Colette, tell us about your book and how listeners can get it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dr. Marissa. My book is called Both Sides Now: Reflections for Women at Midlife, and it is available through Amazon, Barbara's bookstores, Barnes and Noble, IndieBound. Okay, and I do have my website, ColetteTracy.com. So it's available through there as well. So yeah, speaking about the book, I have created a course around it uh, for in general for women midlife and beyond. I was fortunate enough to come across a program called Asher Lifelong Learning Institute, which is a program for 50-year-old plus continuing education. I've been working with some amazing universities like Duke and Arizona State University, American University. Very, very excited that this spring, and we can, if you need to reach out, if you want to reach out to me, you can reach me on LinkedIn or Facebook as well. I'm going to be working on a national pilot with Northwestern University around the books. It is through Ali as well. And we are going to be speaking with people from all over the country teaching this course. So, very, very excited about that. I've also worked with Duke University, and we have potential opportunity to carry the book and its message a little bit further. We're going to be working on that this winter, and maybe we will have a conference this year. We're looking to do that, and it will also be on things like early retirement, reinventing yourself, how to pivot at a certain point in your life, meaning a certain age, and how to really honestly keep yourself in a dignified place and feeling good about that. Because many times if we feel that, especially if we were asked to retire, like, okay, we have this feeling inside, like maybe I'm useless now. No, not at all. There's so much more out there to be able to do and see and be. And, it's a matter of community as well. Having community surrounding you that can help you with those kinds of things, and advice, and working with coaches and things. So we're in the infancy stages at Duke. We're going to be getting together in February to talk about this course. I'm very, very excited. This is going to be a conference, most likely in North Carolina at Duke. So these are just some amazing things coming up. But in a way to also just help you understand what the book touches on. I've done more courses, or more chapters, Vella chapters on Kindle Vella, Amazon, and really expounding on a lot of the things that the book touches on. And the reason I decided to do this was because I had so many workshops over the last year and a half with Ali, mostly Ali, and in universities across the country, and realized some of the things that maybe weren't touched on, or like we talk about with Dr. Marissa, solutions, right? We can all talk about the bad things. We can even all talk about the good things. But how do we handle these transitions? Yeah, we can have a coach. We can attend classes. So how do we handle these changes? And really, I have found that that's what women really want. They want to know, okay, we all know this. It's good, it's bad, it's this and that. How do we make the most out of this? How do we make the most out of this time? And how do we not take for granted, this time, and make the most out of every day, kind of thing. Dr. Marissa?
Wonderful. Thank you, Colette, for that explanation of your work. And please do go and get Both Sides Now if any of what she is saying resonates with you as you prepare for the new year. It is an important thing that you, if you are a recovering perfectionist like both of us are, it's time to transition into that phase, not to do less, but to be more purposeful around what we're doing. And certainly that adage where, very busy, professional, successful people are asked, including the founder of Apple on his deathbed, what would you have changed? And everyone that I know that is successful says, I wish I had spent more time in my relationship versus my material accomplishments. So certainly speaking to that, thank you, Colette, for that. And I would like to give a commercial myself today for those who, I had a lot of beautiful comments from my show yesterday, where I spoke and gave free coaching and advice on, those coping strategies that didn't work that did work when we were kids, going through trauma, going through some pain, but they're not working now. So I want you to move into 2023 with the best possible coping strategies, which are not the baggage that we collected in our past. So I am offering a free coaching session along with an 8-chapter study guide to my #1 best-selling book called 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are. So you can take advantage of that. I've been putting the links on my link tree so you can access that, or just go to drmarissa.life and you will be able to purchase that to help you if you're into self-guiding. It's a great guide to the 8 Ways to Happiness, the last one being Out of Control into Happiness, and claim that birthright for you. It comes with a free a coaching session with me private. So that's my holiday gift to you. And now we go back into our show.
back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa and
Colette Tracy.
The morning show here on KZAA, NBC News Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. It's on AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course my YouTube channel, which houses all of my 555 consecutive weeks. We're on show 848, which is a lucky number. You know why. And we are here to talk about, what do we need to let go of when it comes to resolutions and goals for the new year? We're not using the R word, resolution, this morning because it usually comes with things that fail after the first maybe 6 days or 6 weeks. But we are talking about solution now, especially for the overachieving, recovering perfectionistic women that we usually address more of. It does apply to men as well, but I think there's a special population of us, of people who kind of do too much and are unhappy, but don't really know how to change that. And if you free subscribe to the YouTube channel, not only can you watch and listen to the show every weekday morning, you can also access things like this playlist, Real Women Talk, with Colette Tracy and Dr. Marissa, as well as my new short film, PPP, Post-Pandemic Possibilities, which has been called a vitamin B12 shot for more hope and happiness. Thank you, Seth Greenleaf, as well as my red carpet playlist with interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, and more. So that's where you are. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating with us. If you have any comments and questions about the topic today. So Colette finished with a practical tool of before going into all these areas of resolutions, what are 4 and 5 priorities. So in order, you know me, I love to make it real. So I'm going to actually attempt to do this, and Colette's going to do it as well, as we model what we're talking about in the application of this solution. So if I look at all that I do, and I have the motivational speaking, I have the executive coaching as an organizational psychologist that does strategic planning as well, change management. So I have a big project coming up this January I'm super excited about. And that's time, right? I have the show, that's time, and producing it and marketing it and finding guests and keeping my co-host happy. And then I have a job as a happiness coach, privates, and then I have my social media and all the communication that goes along with that, marketing and sales with the website, etc. And then I have teaching Tai Chi, balanced Tai Chi Gong, and then also all the book tour with the book and getting it translated into different languages. And then I think that's almost it. Oh yeah. And then maintaining friendships. And
yes,
I
very
have
important.
a great relationship with a bonus family, my bonus mom and dad, that I spend time with as much as possible because he's 93 and she just turned 90. And then with my Chinese mom, who I spend an hour of almost every day on the phone with them. And then my relationship with my 2 beautiful inside and out daughters, and that's number 11. And then I think, oh yeah, and then my body. I'm in the project of Love My Body 2.0. It's going to be 3.0 because I know I'm going to gain weight on this trip to Canada, not on the butter tarts, but just because I can't work out because of my back. So I'm now at 12. So there's a 12 areas in which I need to have some kind of time and energy towards. And time is my most valuable resource. And if you are hearing this and you're a person who says, I want to take you out for lunch, and I always say, thank you, I appreciate that, but I don't have the resources to be able to do that. So it's not personal, but now you understand the very many ways in which I do. So now I'm going to tell on myself. I cannot possibly do all of those things at 100%, right? And my analogy is, have you ever tried to chase one rabbit? Hoppity hop up. You can do it. 2 rabbits. Hoppity hop, hoppity hop. I can do that. 3 rabbits. Hoppy hop, hoppity hop. Maybe 3, 4, definitely if they're going in different directions. I'm going to let one go, and they may, end up going into traffic and getting run over by a car. So the reality of my life and all of these things is I can't possibly do all of those things 100% of the time. Now, you are my coach.
I'm glad, because I have a couple things to say.
I didn't tell her she was going to be doing this.
I knew it. I was going to say it anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Dr. Marissa, with all due respect, I know you're a highly accomplished professional. I think 12 priorities is a little bit too much.
No.
Yeah, I do. And I think that, the thing is that you said to me before that you felt a little bit sad because you don't have a best friend. Okay. And you are your best friend, which I think is a beautiful thing. But I will challenge you that friends are very important. Okay. It's not a secret that, I put it in my book. I talk about it. I suffered from depression for many years and as a teenager, isolated myself a lot. This has nothing to do with you. I know you don't suffer from depression, but I'm saying that I didn't really, and I picked up my life, and I got married, and we had family. Family for us, my husband and I, has been a big thing, but really coming to the point where you have outside friends. And why is that important? Because you need to have that time to just kick back and have fun with other women. Maybe you have men friends too, whatever. But just to be able to do that, it nourishes your soul. Okay. And probably for me, it was probably around my 40th year that I really expanded enough emotionally to start to do that. Okay. Again, that's not you. But what I'm saying is that these friends, and nobody is perfect. You're not going to have perfect friendships. You're not going to meet perfect people. Okay. Nobody is perfect. But to have someone there that is just outside, looking in to help you, or just even if you're not that person that wants to open up, and to have fun with somebody other than work. You have fun in your work. I can see that every day. But there's, the work doesn't always feed the soul. In order to do that, we have to have relationships with people. I was blessed because back in the day when I didn't have those kinds of friendships, I always had Mike, and that's my husband, and that's unique, right? Not everybody has that, and I understand that. But it wasn't still enough. And he'll say to me today, like, I know I'm so important to you. I know I'm not enough. No, it's not that you're not enough. It's that one person cannot fulfill all those needs, even yourself. You can't fill your own. You can fill your own cup, but you want to get out there and give and take in the world. It's going to really put you at a place where you are going to feel it in your soul. And even if you get hurt, even if these people are, make those connections, your life will be so much richer. And it's not unusual, right. Steve Jobs, he was a difficult man. He was I've done a lot of studying on and teaching in class around Steve Jobs, because he was a genius. He was brilliant, but he lacked that kind of personal connection. And, I think that it's not everything, but it means a lot because you're giving back. You're allowing others to give to your soul. You're having a life outside outside your work, which is very important. Okay.
All right. Now, at the risk of sounding defensive,
It's okay.
um,
I'm ready.
I love my work. I
Mhm.
I am so grateful and blessed and fortunate. Thank you for the hearts and the thumbs up that came in when Colette was analyzing me, coaching me. And I will say that I actually left out a couple of things. That
Mhm.
I have a mahjong group of friends that I play with once a week
Mhm.
minimum, and I do this on purpose to find more balance and to have more fun. And I love playing mahjong,
Mhm.
and so I have that. And then I do have girlfriends. Don't
Mhm.
get me wrong. I have one of my famous girlfriends is well, before she passed, was Marianne from Gilligan's Island,
Mhm.
Dawn Wells. She was a really good friend, and I love her and I miss her. But I know where she is. And I also now have a friend who's the daughter of the founder of the Temptations, Alon. And we are in touch, pretty regularly and checking in and how things are going. So I do vent to her.
Mhm.
And I do have, during the season, I race sailboats, and I get to take inner city kids out to learn how to race. So I do have balance in the sense of fun and work.
Mhm.
Even though I love my work, I have fun too. So
Mhm.
I do have that.
Mhm.
However, I do not have, and when I say best friend, someone who I talk to every single day and rehash all the things that have happened during the day, because I also find that I don't want to get in a mode of complaining.
Mhm.
So sometimes when you have that best friend, can you believe that? Da, 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 da. And then, but I have to say that I do check in every single day with my bonus mom and dad. So
Mhm.
I do that. I do have that relationship. I love that relationship.
Mhm.
So, but I don't talk to them like a girlfriend.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I hear you,
Mhm.
and I respectfully
I'm good. I'm good with that.
think that I don't want, and this is something that is really the role of venting versus complaining. I think
Mhm.
that some people are handicapping themselves, or I should say, not that word, disabling themselves
Mhm.
by having someone that co-writes their bullshitaki.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
sometimes best friends can fuel a fire of,
Mhm. Yeah.
repeating things over and over that make you angry, and you don't let it go. It
Mhm.
keeps it alive. So anyways, that's my
Yeah.
my response.
No, I think that's true. And I'll be honest with you because I have friends. I have a few really, really close friends. I don't often vent to them. I probably could a lot more, you know, but for the same and I think and I have to watch myself with this because my role is always to give, to support. It's easier for me to hear someone venting their problems than to I literally have a hard time talking about my own sometimes. I have certain people that I do, my husband, my sister, and my therapist or coach, right?
Right.
So those are the things, but just having uh I don't know how to explain it. I think coming from me as a person that, I was very popular when I was younger and before I had the depression, and I always had it my whole life, but before it really stopped me in my tracks for a while. But I always wanted, I was kind of I always had people around me, but I was kind of wanting to be alone a lot. And so I went through a long period of my life, and I had friends at work and such, but I went through a long period of my life, probably from 20 to 40, right? 20 years old to 40 years old, not really having, and maybe earlier than that age, even not really having people that were really women specifically that were really close to me. I had my mom and such. I had that, but it having friends that I could be myself with, right? That I could tell some of my secrets to, right? That were secret for so many years. It was very, very therapeutic and cathartic for me, because I was afraid to there was so much shame and stigma around what happened to me in high school and my depression. And there was so much of that it became very difficult for me to open up to people. So for me, when I started to, and it doesn't mean I won't say very seldom vent. I don't vent a lot to my friends, but I'm myself with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very important to me, that to be able to be me. Yeah.
Absolutely. That vulnerability that I'm not thrilled about. I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
Something that I work on, and maybe that is a goal. You don't have to be yourself with everybody.
Right. That's right.
But it is important to be real with somebody. And there's a great 12-step program saying you are only as sick as your secrets. Yep. So I think that is a great practical point. We are up to the end of the show again. I know it goes very quickly, but you can tune back in with Colette and I on this special series, Real Woman Talk, every first and third Wednesday. Today was a little bit different because Colette was ill last week, so we moved it to this week, but you'll get to see her in a week on Wednesdays, and I'm really happy that we had reactions today, that something that was said on the program today helped you. I know that if you just tuned in, you can go back to my YouTube channel and get this whole show to watch and listen and enjoy the advice that I got today as Colette coached me, which was wonderful. And any last statement from you before we close?
Happy New Year, everyone. Take care of yourself, love your loved ones. Take one day at a time as much as you can. And I'm so happy to be here and share this with you. Thank you, Dr. Marissa. Beautiful show.
Absolutely. Really thank you, Colette Tracy. And yes, as you move into 2023, do spend at least an hour to sit down and look at what worked, what didn't work, and what you would like to happen next year that's different, and what BS belief systems about your ability to do everything or what is really important, leave it back in 2022. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from her living room, not only wishing you a happy new year, but remember, it is all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever tomorrow. Tune in for Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa, and Sam works a little spice to your week as we talk about relationships, romance, and everything in between. Go and have the best day ever. Now, this is a show about hope and happiness. Hopefully you're 88% happy. If not, keep tuning
in. Bye, everyone.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.